ClairCognizance is an inner awareness unsupported by any particular internal sensation or external stimulus. I think that you need to realize that it is a way that your soul takes care of yourself, body, and mind. Welcome to Constance Messmer. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to talk to you about ClairCognizance, also known as intuition. I hope you get a lot from our session. ClairCognizance is clear knowing. You've also heard of it as intuition. That's another word for ClairCognizance. Unfortunately, intuition has been wrongfully used as a blanket term for psychic perception or psychic awareness. But by about this point in our journey together, you realize that you perceive psychic experiences through your soul's awareness in a lot of different ways. And ClairCognizance is just another one of those ways. Over the years, our access to the information has not changed, but our awareness and understanding about the experiences that are occurring have evolved. And that is why it's important to use the words that we mean when we're describing our soul awareness. You know me by now, and you know I'm a snob. So when people have before come up to me and said, I'm intuitive too, and I say, really? Cool. How are you intuitive? And then they get into saying, oh, I hear voices. And I'm like, oh, is that the only way you get your information psychically? And they say, yeah, I just hear the voices in my head and I talk to them and such as this. Then I say to them, oh, you mean to tell me then you're clairaudient. You're not really intuitive. And they're like, huh? And then I explain to them to be intuitive means that you are having an experience without conscious reasoning. And you need to reason when you are hearing something because you're processing the information through your brain to interpret what you're hearing. Where intuition, aka ClairCognizance, is actually occurring with no rational thought, no conscious reasoning, or no inference involved whatsoever. The information just comes to you out of nowhere. It's either comes as information, knowledge, or ability to understand something that comes immediately without knowing why or how you know it. You just do. ClairCognizance is an inner awareness unsupported by any particular internal sensation or external stimulus. There are no inner or outer senses involved, since this is an inner knowing. So no other soul senses are happening. There's no clairaudience, no clairvoyance, no clairsentiment, no clairsensation, no clairolfaction, no clairgustance, no empathic connection. You just know something without knowing how you know it. It comes to you. It is a non-sensory awareness. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to tell you a secret, but maybe I already told you this. It's not really a secret. I was going to wait. And I think I did already tell you this. It's the fact that oftentimes this is how the information is relayed from the angelic realm on up. So divine consciousness communicates with this, as does the angelic. You just know. So when you're sitting in meditation, or even when you're not, when you're going about your life and you just keep getting this awareness that you have to do something, You're not hearing it. You're not seeing a vision about it. It's just a knowing. You don't have any sensation, no pulls, no clear sensation pull to go do something. You just have to do it. No rhyme or reason, no external seemingly anybody in the physical coaxing you to do it. It's happening as a soul impression on a soul level. And oftentimes, then I would invite you to put your hands on your heart and say, who is sending me this claircognizant experience or this intuitive hit or awareness? And often it is from angelic realm on higher. When I sit in meditation and communicate with the angels or with God, also often I don't have to ask anything. The information just comes impressing itself on me. And so I'm not really hearing it as you would clairaudience. It comes as a knowing. Yeah. And so it's it's just a little piece of information I wanted to tell you, but we're going to get deeper into that when I go specifically into connecting with angels and connecting with divine consciousness. But I just thought you should know that, in case for those of you that are already communicating this way, because it is a form of communication. All of these are forms of communication on a soul level, right? And claircognizance is no different. Intuition is no different. But I always invite you to say, who's giving me this intuitive hit? Where's this coming from? Is this just my soul knowing this? Or is it coming from a different place or a different being? So there's advantages and disadvantages with claircognizance, this non-sensory awareness, if you will. It's really the easiest. It's often working without our conscious awareness, right? It's really the fastest of, if I were to throw it in with this other psychic senses, if you will, or the other soul senses, this one operates really fast. Now, the disadvantages, though, is that it's really easy to miss. A lot of times people miss it, discount it, or discredit it, but it does come fast. It comes like as a first impression, or a first, like, I've got to do this. I just know I have to, kind of like a lightning bolt hitting you, but you're not going to physically feel that. You're just going to know, oh my gosh, I know I have to do this. It comes as knowing, right? Not words, because that would be clairaudience, a knowing. And therefore it comes with no other, frequently, it comes with no other supporting information. So there's no voices or no feelings, physical or emotional. It's just a knowing. And so because it comes often with no other supporting information, it can be the hardest to trust. The beautiful thing is that we are all capable of intuitive moments and following our intuition. It's part of who we are, part of our soul nature. And the thing is, it's really about paying attention and recognizing that it's happening. Claircognizance is a beautiful gift to yourself, really, truly. But I will tell you what it's not. Okay, it is not a gut feeling. Because if you're having a gut feeling, like your stomach is turning, or your stomach is like all of a sudden feeling really great and it makes you feel good and elated on a physical soul hit level, right? Then that's clairsensation. So it is not a gut feeling. When people say, oh, intuition, my gut feeling, I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't know, because you're not making any sense in my world. Aren't I so awful? I'm so sorry. The real me. Snob, total snob. And of course, I have to tell you, I only giggle inside. I don't giggle externally. I don't make fun of them. I don't, because I'm not mean, right? I'm just inside. I have a field day with this because it's just so cute for me. I'm kind because they're learning, and I really want to spread the word on the importance of differentiating and using the proper terminology. And referring to your gut feeling as your intuition synonymously is just archaic. I know it's all over the internet, but it's archaic to me. That's all. Okay, so here's the deal. Sometimes claircognizance comes on its own, and I encourage you, when it does, to go with it and see how that feels, and keep a diary, taking notes, see how it works out to your advantage or to your disadvantage. Was it something that you should have done And then you're like, oh, I wish I would have done that. Why didn't I do that? I had an intuitive moment and I bypassed it. Just note those things. But sometimes claircognizance, aka intuition, hits as a preliminary measure to other ways. Remember, I've already said that when I'm doing the work to connect through the spirit realm with animals here or loved ones that are alive or God or wherever, I will use anything and everything at my disposal. I will use all of these various forms of getting information, sending information. And wait for it, spirit does the same thing. So sometimes they might give you, guardian angels, loved ones on the other side, God, your soul, right? We haven't even gotten into your soul as an aspect of yourself. Your soul, which is connected to all that is, that can travel in time. Yeah, you still with me? Don't hang up on me now. Sometimes your soul even sends claircognizance as the first link to you to inspire your life. And then it is followed by other clairs, whether clairvoyance, you might see yourself doing something in your mind's eye, like, oh, I should go back and check the dishwasher or check the refrigerator and make sure the door closed or whatever it is that plays to your mind or whatever. Or you could hear a repetitive thought after the intuitive hit. All of these things, or a sense, clair sensation or clair sentiment. But what I'm saying is often when it's first used as claircognizance and then followed by a series of your other clairs or your other ways of getting information to you, I just want you to split it out and pay attention. I mean, that's what we're about, right? Is to really deeply go into the experience and how the progression of communication methods came to you, just for your own betterment and your own awareness. All right. I'm excited for you. I think you're going to have a good time with this. I think that you need to realize that it is a way that your soul takes care of yourself, body and mind and emotion. Your soul knows so much. And intuition is not just our conscience bothering us, right? Although that can sometimes be the thing, but even then that's impression of a different standard. But your claircognizance is occurring for your soul to kind of help guide your ego self along in this journey. And so I just really encourage you to the next stretch of time before the next lesson that you really involve yourself in a relationship with your own intuitive nature, your own claircognizance, and recognize it when it's occurring. And then if you follow it or don't follow it, how that turns out for you. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have learned a little something or a little few somethings from today's session. I apologize for being a snob, but I just have to just say I'm not a snob. I'm a teacher. That's all. And I just like accuracy when it's important in my work. And that's why I teach. And that's why when people have misused the vocabulary to the experiences, I help gently, by gently correcting them. So now you're fully armed and fully aware of all the proper terminology. It's been a great fun go with this today. And I thank you so much for listening. Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed this episode with Constance Messmer, we'd like to encourage you to continue your spiritual journey with this next episode.